All right, ready to get our hands dirty? We're diving deep into Frank Herbert's Dune today.
The spice must flow.
It certainly must. We're digging into the 40th anniversary edition and spicing things up with some insights from the 2021 film's Wikipedia page.
Lots to unpack there.
Definitely. So if Dune is this massive, complex desert, consider us your guides. We're here to help you navigate all the intricacies and maybe uncover some hidden gems along the way.
I like that because Dune isn't just some action-packed space opera, is it? It's got layers, like a cake.
Oh, it absolutely does. It's a reflection of our world, too, when you really think about it. Power struggles, ecological dilemmas, those tough choices we grapple with when the stakes are, well, universally high.
Speaking of high stakes, we have to start with the ultimate prize spice.
Right. Forget paprika. This stuff is the most sought-after substance in the entire universe. And guess what? It's only found on one crazy, harsh planet, Arrakis. Oko Dune.
Control the spice, you control, well, practically everything.
It's almost like oil here, isn't it? Whoever has the spice has their hands on the pulse of interstellar travel, trade, even the structure of society itself.
And that's where the whole political chess match comes into play.
We've got noble houses, each with their own agenda, their own ambitions, all vying for a piece of that spice-laden pie. The Atreides, known for their sense of honor and fairness, they get entrusted with Arrakis.
Which doesn't exactly thrill the Harkonnens, their sworn enemies. Talk about holding a grudge.
Seriously. And the Harkonnens, they're about as ruthless as they come. But it's not just a simple power grab, is it? It goes deeper than that.
Oh, much deeper. Think ancient rivalries, a thirst for revenge that spans generations. Herbert really drives that home with the whole concept of Canley.
Canley, just saying, it sends chills down my spine. It's not just revenge, though, is it? There's a system to this madness.
You got it. Canley is like this deeply ingrained system of vendetta, its own intricate set of rules, traditions, almost like an art form.
Imagine a world where vendettas are practically a spectator sport with these age-old feuds playing out on a grand galactic stage. It makes you wonder about the lines between justice and, well, sheer vengeance. And nobody embodies Canley quite like the Harkonnens.
They are masters of the craft. And when we talk about Harkonnens, we have to talk about the Baron. He's a piece of work.
He really is. And his reliance on his mentat, Peter de Vries. De Vries is like a twisted genius, a human computer who seems to delight in manipulating others, inflicting pain. He's chilling.
A chilling reminder that brilliance without, let's say, a moral compass can be terrifying.
Absolutely. And then there's Fade Rotha, the Baron's heir, being groomed in this cutthroat environment. He's got big shoes to fill.
The Baron sees potential in Fade Rotha, definitely. But he also uses him, manipulates him for his own gain. It's like a twisted family drama playing out on a galactic scale.
Speaking of complex family dynamics, let's turn our attention to the Atreides, specifically young Paul Atreides. He's about to get caught in a whirlwind, and trust me, he's no ordinary teenager.
That's an understatement. His mother, Jessica, is a member of the Bene Gesserit, a powerful, super-secretive women's order. Let's just say they have their own plans.
Talk about an overprotective mother. They trained Paul, instilled in him some extraordinary abilities, even subjected him to that brutal test with the Gom Jabbar.
That pain box, the Gom Jabbar, it's meant to do more than just inflict pain. It's designed to unlock hidden potential. To see if someone has the mental and physical strength to become the Kwisatz Haderach.
The Kwisatz Haderach, the one who can see the future, heavy stuff. Seeing the future, talk about a heavy burden to carry. But the Bene Gesserit, they seem to operate on a whole other level. It makes you wonder what gives them the right to mold and manipulate people like that, even if they believe it's for some greater good.
It really raises those ethical questions, doesn't it? Free will versus destiny, the whole shebang. But let's not forget, Paul's not just some puppet of prophecy. He's a young man trying to find his footing in a world that's, well, let's just say it's pretty messed up.
That's putting it mildly. And then he gets shipped off to Arrakis, of all places. It's like being dropped into survival mode on hard mode. Giant sandworms, endless desert, water as precious as, well, spice. How does anything survive there?
That's where the Freemen come in. Talk about adaptation. These are the masters. They've not just survived Arrakis, they've learned to thrive in it.
Seeing those still suits in the 2021 film, that was something else. To think they've created something that recycles every drop of moisture, even sweat, it's mind-boggling.
It speaks volumes about their resourcefulness, but also their connection to the planet's ecology. They understand that to survive Arrakis, you don't fight it, you work with it.
And their whole relationship with the sandworms, those behemoths. I mean, most people would run screaming, but the Freemen, they've learned to coexist, even ride them across the desert.
It's a bond built on understanding, on respect for the natural order. The Freemen, they don't see the sandworms as monsters, but as part of the balance, essential to Arrakis.
It makes you think about our own relationship with nature, doesn't it? Maybe the Freemen have something to teach us about sustainability, about living in harmony with our environment.
There's a lesson in there somewhere, definitely. But back to the danger, because Arrakis is full of it. And for the Atreides, it's not always from some external enemy. Dr. Yu, that seemingly trustworthy suck school doctor.
Don't remind me. That betrayal still stings. To think someone sworn to protect the Atreides could turn on them so completely.
It's a harsh lesson that even in a world of assassins and power plays, trust can be the most dangerous weapon of all.
And for Paul and Jessica, it means fleeing for their lives, right into the heart of that unforgiving desert.
It's a baptism by fire, you could say. Stripped of their status, their security, forced to rely on their instincts and their wits. And who do they turn to? The Fremen.
The very people they might have underestimated before. Talk about a humbling experience.
It's a turning point for both of them, especially Paul. They have to confront their preconceptions about the Fremen, see them not as some desert-dwelling tribe, but as a complex culture with their own beliefs and traditions.
They can't just blend in, though. They have to prove themselves.
Survival depends on it. Paul, he goes through a transformation during his time with the Fremen, adopts their ways, their combat skills, even their connection to the desert itself.
He takes the name Muad'Dib. It's more than just a name. It's a symbol of his growing bond with the Fremen.
And his destiny. Because out in that desert, surrounded by the Fremen, Paul's powers, that ability to see the future, it starts to blossom.
He's not just a boy playing at being a warrior. He's stepping into something far greater, something that could change the fate of Arrakis itself. He's becoming a leader. It's almost like he's stepping out of the shadow of prophecy and grabbing the reins of his own destiny.
Exactly. But with great power, right? It's not all sunshine and sandworms. Paul's becoming a beacon of hope for the Fremen.
A leader who could unite them, maybe even challenge the Harkonnens. Talk about shaking things up.
The Harkonnens won't let go of Arrakis that easily. It's like a game of intergalactic chess. You've got Paul and the Fremen making their move, and then there's the Emperor pulling strings from the shadows and caught in the middle. The Harkonnens, desperate to cling to power.
Desperation can make people do crazy things. Look at the Baron. He's ruthless, sure, but he's no idiot. He knows to regain control of Arrakis, he has to break the Fremen.
And how do you break a people? You crush their spirit, make them fear you.
That's where Rabban comes in, right? The Baron's brutal nephew, sent to make an example of the Fremen. It's a tale as old as time, using fear and oppression to maintain control.
It's a strategy that often backfires, though, doesn't it? The more you squeeze, the more people resist. Rabban might think he's tightening the noose, but he's pushing the Fremen right into Paul's hands.
And we can't forget about Thufir Hawat, the Atreides master assassin, now a pawn in the Baron's games. Talk about a cruel twist of fate.
Loyalty tested to its absolute limit. To serve the people who destroyed everything you held dear, knowing you're powerless to stop them. It makes you think, how far would you go? What lines wouldn't you cross in the name of duty, of protecting those you love?
It's a burden Paul understands all too well, isn't it? He's balancing revenge with the fate of an entire people, the fate of Arrakis. And then there's the whole seeing the future thing. That's got to be a trip.
A blessing and a curse, those visions. Glimpses of possibilities of what might be, but also the potential consequences. Imagine bearing that weight, knowing your choices could change the fate of billions.
Enough to make you question your sanity. But Paul, he takes it in stride. Or maybe in sand stride, considering he's riding sandworms. He doesn't just learn to survive Arrakis, he learns to command it. He leads the Fremen to victory, fulfills that prophecy that's been hanging over his head.
And how can you not root for him? But it's a bittersweet victory, isn't it? Because with victory comes a cost. Lives lost, a galaxy on the brink of a holy war, a jihad. It makes you question how much bloodshed is a cause, even a noble one, worth.
It's a question that echoes through history and one that Herbert doesn't shy away from. There are no easy answers in Dune, just the harsh reality that sometimes even the best intentions can pave the road to hell.
So as you continue your journey through Dune, keep that in mind. It's a story that challenges our perceptions, makes us confront uncomfortable truths about power, about choice, about the human condition itself.
It's a wild ride, this deep dive into Dune. It's familiar in some ways, strangely alien in others, and maybe, just maybe, it holds up a mirror to our own world, our own choices, and the legacy we leave behind. That's Frank Herbert's genius for you. Until next time, keep the spice flowing and those sandworms at bay.